listening to the Casting for Fun podcast, the show that talks about entertainment, sports, music, and inspirational stories for all to enjoy. We're glad you could join us today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here is your host, Albert Pineda.
Can only feel the number of people out there being like, what's going on?
First and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City!
And this was the Andy Reid special. This was the Andy Reid special we talked about. He was saving all day. He's going to fake a motion to go across. And at that moment, he turns and goes back Hardman, who they didn't have, right?
And they win it by 3 on this touchdown throw to Mecole Hardman, who started the season as a Jet.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Casting for Fun podcast. I am your host, Albert Pineda, and this week's episode is for Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. Happy Valentine's Day to all those who celebrate and acknowledge this day. For this week's episode, we're talking Super Bowl 58. Incredible game, really fun game. A little sloppy at times, but still, I thought it was really entertaining and great. If you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you know that I love the Super Bowl. I love everything about it. So it's pretty much a guarantee that after every Super Bowl, you'll probably hear me recording about it, talking about it on the podcast, as long as the podcast is still going on. So this year is no exception. Super Bowl 58, Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. I'm sure everybody listening is aware, watched the game and saw it, or at least aware that the Chiefs won. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. So it's always great just to reflect on the fun time that is the Super Bowl, the huge cultural event that it is. So again, we talk Super Bowl, we talk the game itself, we talk halftime show, we talk commercials, we talk food. Joining me will be good friend of the show, frequent collaborator Nick Turner. Unfortunately, Tom McNeil and Tyler Ivansich, who were invited to come on the show, weren't able to make it. So hopefully in the future, I can arrange a time to have them both on the show. It's been a while since either one of them had been on. Excuse me. So it'd be really cool to have them both back on for another episode. And in the meantime, though, Nick and I hold down the fort. I think we have a really cool conversation talking about those 4 aspects of the Super Bowl itself. And we even jump into some Kobe Bryant Laker talk, talking about his recent statue that was shown and erected at Staples Center. I'm sorry, rather, Crypto.com arena. So it's a really fun conversation. It's always great when Nick is able to join me on the show. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the show. I want to go ahead and insert some interview clips from Patrick Mahomes, who won Super Bowl MVP for this year's game. So here we go. This is Patrick Mahomes talking to the press about the Chiefs' big win.
Third time in 5 years. I know all rings are great. Yeah. Is this one the most satisfying based on where you were, losing 5 of 8 at one point in the regular season?
1,000%. I mean, just the attitude of the team to never give up, always believe, and to continue the fight. It's special, and I'm proud of the guys, man. I mean, we battled through and through all the way through the playoffs into the Super Bowl, and just like our whole season, it came down to the last play.
It seemed like you guys really used your Super Bowl experience throughout this playoffs to like almost be up 7 points at the beginning of almost every single game, right? Like, how important was experience to this journey this year?
It was extremely important. I mean, I think for me, just knowing when to take those chances and when not to. Obviously, I had the dumb interception that I threw at the beginning of the second half, and the defense trying to bail me out. But just knowing that even when it's not going the way that I wanted to go, to not press, not push, and let the game come to me. And that's something that I think we did in the end, and we were able to score there at the end of the game.
Very cool. So I'm always looking to insert clips to make the podcast sound more polished and professional. And I think I'm getting pretty decent at this. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. But hopefully you feel the same way and that you are enjoying this podcast if you are in fact listening. So here we go. This is my conversation with Nick Turner discussing all things Super Bowl 58. Welcome back to the show, Nick Turner. Nick, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing excellent. Just enjoyed a long game.
Oh, yeah. Like, what did the announcer say? It was like the 7th longest in NFL history.
Right. Longest Super Bowl in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, the game should have been over an hour before. In fact, it was running long even before they went to OT, right?
Right. In fact, Isaac, this is the first year, like, he likes football.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed up. He made it through regulation, fell asleep in overtime, and missed the actual ending. So yeah, it happens. He's got plenty of years to enjoy many more, so he'll be fine.
Oh, very good. Good to hear. So just be Nick and I tonight. We're missing some of our other regulars when it comes to football talk, Tom McNeil and Tyler Ivansich, but we'll do best. I mean, usually you and I come up with some pretty cool, funny banter, even not even related to the NFL. So if we have time, which I'm sure we will, we can talk about some other fun stuff too. So
right. And I think Tyler had an interpretive ballet dance he was performing in.
That sounds about right.
Something like that. In the Castro district, I think is what he said. His favorite place.
Very funny.
The great thing is he's not here to defend himself, so sorry, man.
Sorry, Tyler. But but I mentioned to those guys, I definitely want to bring them on for another episode. It's been a while since I've talked to Tyler and Tom. So we have them back on just to chat about the Breeze.
All right, here's the question. I got a question to start.
Oh, very cool. Let's go into it.
Who were you rooting for to win?
It's an interesting question because a lot of people were asking me that too. Because everyone who asks you, "Hey, you're watching the game?" Oh, yeah, I'm watching the game. I always watch the game. Oh, cool. Who are you rooting for?
Right.
Just our inherent nature as being Southern California guys, we hate San Francisco and the Bay Area and everything.
I know.
So it's like the 49ers, even though I do acknowledge so many great players have played for the 49ers. So the team itself's been fun to watch. I just don't like San Francisco people.
And I think our history, I don't know if you remember, back when we were in high school, I love the 49ers.
Oh, I remember one time you were wearing a jacket and we went to go walk at the parade route and you had some people heckling you one time for wearing the 49ers jacket.
Yeah, I love, I think it was 92 was like the first Super Bowl I remember. It was San Francisco and Denver and Joe Montana. They annihilated Denver. Mm-hmm. And I became a huge Jerry Rice fan. I wanted to be Jerry Rice, wanted to be a receiver and like the 49ers. And then, we were Steve Young fans. I don't know if you remember that.
Everybody was if you're a member of the church. So
true, but we were like football, we enjoyed the football side too.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I got older, like the 49ers owner, he got forced out and the team made stupid mistakes. And when they got rid of Coach Mariucci, I was just like, I don't like that city. Mm-hmm. So everyone I liked that played for him is gone and ownership is stupid. So I kind of disowned him. But I found myself rooting for him today for the first time in a long time, just because I'm so tired of Taylor Swift and everything.
Yeah, I feel you, man. That's what I was kind of thinking with the Chiefs as well. And just kind of I'm just kind of, over it. But and then also just kind of a repeat of, from 3 years ago, 2021, when they played again. I mean, it would have been cool to see Ravens in Detroit or Baltimore and Detroit in the Super Bowl, I thought.
Yeah. It's funny. So I realized something too. I'm not a fan of running quarterbacks. I think that's one thing that's made the league go down and not be as good as it's kind of like college. More quarterbacks are running. And I thought Baltimore would win. And then they lost. I was kind of like, why did I pick Baltimore? Running quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Not someone that can't scramble to get a first down, but someone who as a play is going to hold the ball and run. When you get to the Super Bowl, the defenses are just better, and it's harder to do that. No one's really done it yet. Someday someone will, because more quarterbacks are playing that style. But it just kind of reassured me, the team I thought would win, running quarterback. In the end, no, couldn't pull it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. As I was, watching the game, I'm kind of paying attention to small details. Normally, I don't do that, but I mean, I'm watching the game, taking notes and things of that nature, and just realizing so many integral plays go into the game itself that you really can't just pin it all on the quarterback, saying the quarterback can will a team to victory. I mean, sometimes they can, but it's
Right.
interesting you mentioned about, the running quarterbacks. There are some highly touted, college players that people thought were going to have huge careers in the NFL and didn't, like Robert Gifford III and Cam Newton come to mind as far as that goes. So, but I mean, I guess the jury's
Scam
still out.
Newton?
Yeah.
Was it Fernando that used to say that? Scam Newton?
I guess the jury's still out on what's his name, MVP for Baltimore. I forgot his name now.
I don't even know his name.
Okay, yeah, but I
He's,
mean, we'll see. We'll see
he's
how
still
he does.
young. I
Yeah.
think running quarterback will eventually win just because the way the game's changed over the years.
Lamar
Kind of
Jackson.
like,
I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson.
yeah, like the NBA. It's all offense now. I hate it. It sucks. And football's just slowly following, in my opinion, just at a slower rate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very cool, man. Very cool. So again, our normal conversation when it comes to these Super Bowl episodes, to talk about the game, talk about halftime, talk about the commercials and trailers, and then talk about food options. Regardless of who's playing and how the game actually plays out and everything involved, I just always love the Super Bowl. It's just always a cool cultural experience for me.
Right.
So talking about all those aspects, I think is equally fun. So let's dive into first the game itself. What did you think then? What did you think of the game we got? I initially thought it was going to kind of be a blowout or maybe really high scoring, but the Chiefs were going to win. The game ended up being quite interesting, I thought.
I thought it was very, very good game. San Francisco started off looking unstoppable and then turned the ball over on the other side of the field. And I'm like, all right, fumble, first possession. All right, here we go. It's the Super Bowl. Low scoring game, good defense. For me, like an old school football game. It wasn't a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
So paid attention more to the game because the game was exciting. I liked it. I do think San Francisco blew it. I think they had their opportunities particularly that missed extra point for no reason. I mean, it's a field, it's an extra point. You don't have to kick it far, and you kicked it too low. I mean, that proved to cost them the game. And so, like you said, the little things count. Like 1 point matters. So we were trying to explain to Isaac today, he's 8, and it's like, hey, that 1 point matters. Like that could lose them the game. And so then when the came to the end of regulation, and we're like, hey, that 1 point made a difference. So yeah, the little things, special teams, just lots penalties too in the first quarter and first half against San Francisco really hurt them. Yeah, but overall, good game. I'd watch a game like that anytime.
Mm-hmm. I liked how the announcers were kind of talking about how composed the Chiefs were basically all season long, like just managing the game, just like cool, calm, and collective. But it kind of seemed like you mentioned, like the 49ers were looking unstoppable, like they really had their number on a number of plays in the first half. But then again, I guess they regained their composure and got the ball rolling, as it were. So again, that's what good teams do. So as much as I can't stand hearing about Taylor Swift, it was I think a deserving win on the part of the Chiefs, and so many great plays from both sides of the field. So that was kind of fun to see as well.
I agree. Kelsey was kind of taken out until exhibition time. Just each team, their defensive schemes seemed to work, and both teams, when they would open up and you think they're just going down in and like this is it, fumble or interception or something. And so just made it exciting, I think. When many years it's not a close game. Heck, hardly ever goes into overtime. So yeah, just 0-0 first quarter, 10-3 at the half, like just a one possession game almost the whole game. So yeah, just really exciting and close where every play mattered. You didn't have any plays, like free plays, really.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Nope.
I mean, I think that sums up the game in a nutshell. Just exciting game, good football, kind of an old school football game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It was kind of interesting to see again. The two-star tight ends for both teams were kind of kept out of the game. Kelsey,
Yeah.
Kittle, but then Kittle he did come up with a big play in the fourth quarter. To convert on 4th and 3.
Yeah, they
For the first down in the red zone, which led to the touchdown. But then, like you mentioned, that led to the miss extra point.
right. So once again, like they both had some plays that really helped the team, but neither dominated like you would normally expect them to do.
Yeah.
So both defensive schemes, for the most part, worked. Kelsey and over that final drive had a couple key catches for big yards. But once again, I think, and at that time they had changed their defensive scheme
Mm-hmm.
because of the situation. So overtime, I mean, I was just trying to think, like, man, you're in overtime. What do you do? San Francisco gets the ball. They're just dominating on the run, go down, and can't get a touchdown. Like Kansas City gets the stop. What was it, 3rd and 4?
Yeah.
And the blitz, they got to the quarterback, made him make a bad throw, and that was it. The defense came through when it had to. So many little plays, but just a very good game. I messaged Tad earlier today that this was going to be a classic. I forgot to message everyone else.
Oh, very fun, very fun. Yeah, I did get a message from David. I don't know if you did. It was like rooting for like Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
That's been going around. Like
Yeah.
Sarah showed me earlier in the week too. All the girls had, not her, but it was on the interwebs that, yeah, I'm rooting for Taylor's boyfriend shirts and all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I did want to talk just a little bit about Brock Purdy, even though again he's the losing quarterback. But it was kind of interesting as I was just like preparing for the podcast, doing research and learning things. That it was cool that he had an amazing season for the 49ers. Set the record for passing yards in a single season, which again was set by Jeff Garcia before him. He only beat him by 2 yards. So it's crazy to think that. And then so many prolific quarterbacks who have played for the 49ers, like Joe Montana, Steve Young, John Brody. So yeah, I think the kid's got a bright future ahead of him. It's pretty cool that he was drafted in the 7th round, 262nd overall. So like the lowest drafted quarterback to ever play in a Super Bowl, which is pretty amazing. So
next to Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, I think, was even higher than him. I think
I thought Brady was like the last pick in the draft. Period.
I'll have to look at it again. I think he was like somewhere in like the 200s, but I think Brock Purdy was like now the most recent lowest drafted player in history. But I'll take a look at that. But regardless, though, the kid's got a bright future ahead of him. But as you mentioned, a few years ago when we talked about the Rams and when the Rams won the Super Bowl, that the Brett Favre had made it to the Super Bowl. People thought he was going to make it for so many years after that, but then didn't. So, it'd be cool if he did, because he seemed like a really cool dude, really good guy. But we'll have to just wait and see what Brock Purdy's future lies ahead of him. But I think it's actually a pretty good future.
Yeah, 49ers, I don't know whose contract's up, but they're a good team. I like their coach. I think they have a couple years still where they're going to be very competitive. But Kansas City, back to back, not easy to do. Not impossible, but not easy. Have a chance to go for 3. I don't think they'll get it, but it's hard enough to do 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Kansas City, you can kind of say turning into a dynasty, or is a dynasty.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL these days, compared to what we used to have. So I think it'll be interesting to have a guy like Purdy come out from nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that. Once again, a running quarterback who's going to hand the ball off more and throw it, play a more traditional game. I think he's got a bright future, but it is not easy to win, and that was the example tonight. And during the game in overtime, when Kansas City was going, when they were on the 50-yard line, I was like, I think they're going to win. You give Mahomes this opportunity. San Francisco, you left too much time on the clock. Like you had a chance at the end of regulation to get the touchdown, you couldn't get it. Settled for 3, gave them, 2 minutes left on the clock. They almost won it in regulation.
No, yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, they're not going to stop him. Like Mahomes is too good. And that ended up being correct. I was hoping I'd be wrong, but it just ended up being correct. They're a good team, even beat up. They're well coached. They executed well, even with all the faults. Special teams came through when it needed. Got that blocked point, and they are the champions once again.
Mm-hmm. And then Mahomes in a very elite company that there's only 3 quarterbacks in the history of NFL who have actually won 15 or more playoff games. And Mahomes just entered that criteria, that category, along with Brady at 35, which I can't imagine anybody catching. That's just unbelievable to think of that.
Right.
And Montana at 16. So obviously Mahomes is going to pass Montana probably next year.
Well, and he's also, I think he's one of 5 quarterbacks to win 3 Super Bowls.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, he's separating himself from everyone else in the league right now with today's victory. And, that's the question, I mean, how did Tom do it for so long? Mahomes is young, so like there's the chance, but, the NFL is a tough game. Injuries happen. Unexpected things happen. People get unhappy and want to leave, or they want to get their payday for their family. So, what team will show up next year in Kansas City? We'll have to wait and see. 2 in a row, they're banged up. Even to go 3 in any sport, go 3 in a row is almost impossible, which is why it's so coveted.
Yeah.
So, but it's something to talk about. It makes for, good, exciting chat around the water cooler, if you will, or on the internet now. So there's going to be lots of chatter. I kind of like what he said, like, hey, we're going to enjoy this victory. We're not done. We're still young. And I don't know if you heard his acceptance speech, because we pretty much started right after.
Yeah, literally almost like the game ended.
Because of overtime. Yeah, he's like, hey, we're young. We're not done. Like, we want to do this. We've heard that before. But we'll see. But yeah, it'll make for exciting commentary.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So what could have been a slightly boring game ended up being really exciting and fun. So I'm happy with the game that we got. So it was a really cool game. Very cool. Anything else about the game you wanted to discuss or bring up? We can always come back to it as well.
No, we might. No, just a good overall game. Classic football game.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's go ahead and jump into halftime. So we'll see how long or how short this conversation is right now. Usher. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of know his music, I guess. You couldn't. I mean, don't ask me when it comes to R&B music, like who's the best. So I don't know. What did you think?
Like we're not Usher fans. We would make fun of him. Let's not lie about it. We're more rock and rollers. I mean, I respect him, because Michael Jackson loved him. I'm like, all right, if Michael Jackson thinks you're good, like, all right, there's something there, but just not our type. I wasn't impressed with the halftime show. Roller skates. I mean, my comment was to Sarah was like, ooh, that's difficult. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Like dance and roller skates. I couldn't do it. Though I'm a white man, I can't dance. But overall, I'm like, I knew a couple songs, but I thought it was just okay. Sarah loved it. She got up with the kids and made them dance. So yes, ladies, I think enjoyed it. And I noticed for people too, Albert, on Twitter, it was people that were, 8 to 10 years younger than us that loved it. Like we were kind of a little old for Usher, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So like for school dances and whatnot. So that's the other thing I noticed. Like people online of that age group, they loved it. He's kind of their pop singer. The anti NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and boy bands. So, but I thought it was just okay. I wasn't that impressed, but
yeah, the only song that I really can tell of his that I recognize would be that "Yeah" song.
Right,
And
the
whenever
last
I
one.
hear it, I always just think of Dave Chappelle's impersonation of Little John, which is so hilarious and funny to me. In fact, because I've been doing it, I've been
Yes.
putting sound clips into the podcast. I'm gonna throw that clip into this episode right now, just for fun.
Are you checking any luggage today, sir?
Yeah!
Did you pack the bags yourself?
Yeah!
And the bags have been in your possession the whole time?
What?
Have these bags been in your possession the whole time?
What?
These bags have been in your possession the whole time.
What?
These bags, were they in your possession the whole time?
What?
And these bags have been in your possession the whole time?
Yeah! Yeah!
All right. Well, Mr. John, you're all set.
Okay!
Pardon me, madam. Will this be reflected upon my frequent flyer miles?
Did you book your flight online?
Yeah!
And it will be.
Okay!
Have a nice flight.
What?
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 Have a nice flight.
Okay!
Thank you. I approve. So it's funny because before the Super Bowl started, Sarah was like, "Can we put Usher on?" So I go on YouTube and I'm looking and I'm like, "All right, what song?" And I'm scrolling and I go through like 8 or 10 songs and she's like, "I don't know." And I go back to "Yeah." and then I see him in it and I'm like, "Oh, Dave Chappelle." Oh, that's all I could think of is Chappelle. Yeah. And so I thought the same thing. My initial thought hearing it and seeing him on there was Chappelle, the Chappelle Show.
It's actually kind of funny too. So I was looking at YouTube clips, and apparently there's a clip of TMZ like catching up with Little John at LAX, and he's telling him, "Dave Chappelle ruined my life because all people do is when they come up and see me is say, yeah."
No, you ruined it. You're the one that did that, guys.
He was joking about it too, like saying like, at the same time he also like raised my brand like awareness, like people like went up, like I gained so many fans because of that. But I guess he just hates the fact that random people show up to him and just yell out, "Yeah!"
Look, you and I don't know who he is except for that.
Yeah.
So he has that to credit that we even know who he is. So,
yeah.
I don't know. What did you like? No, I mean, he's a good dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia Keys, his music is just not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like performance-wise, if I was into that, I would probably say it was okay. But I was hoping for a little more pizzazz or something more, personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did seem kind of basic as far as like halftime shows go. But again, I mean, I'm not a fan of that music, so you can't really ask my opinion. Yeah. One aspect I did thought was kind of cool, but again, this wouldn't really be on Usher's part. I think this would be more on the production crew for doing this. Was that camera shot that was following him in a circle? I thought that was actually kind of pretty cool. Like they're on a circular stage and it's going like a smooth transition from one person to the other in a circle. So like the cameraman was like maybe like in the middle of the stage and like looking at everyone in a like a 360 motion. That was pretty cool. But again, that would be more on the production side as opposed to anything Usher does. So.
Oh, it's so funny too, because man, I didn't send it to you. I should have, but Family Guy kind of did that already.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. I'll send it to you to watch after. But yeah, Family Guy totally riding around on skates.
Oh,
Peter with like gear, like even similar gear.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, dude, it's hilarious. I saw people posting that on Twitter after. It was like, okay, that's freaking hilarious. I'll just send it to you to watch whenever.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
It's only like 5 seconds long, and it's hilarious.
Very nice, very nice. So, anything else with halftime, or are you ready to move on?
No, halftime. The game was so good. I did not care about halftime personally.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if we're moving on, probably commercials is next subject.
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention to commercials either. I was more focused on the game. There's those years where the games aren't that good, so you might get up during the game because you're like, oh, maybe commercials will be better to get food or drink or use the restroom. This year, like, no, I wanted to sit the whole time during the game.
Mm-hmm.
And when commercials came is when I got up to go do something, fix something, refill the drink, grab a snack. So I didn't pay attention. I did notice that movies didn't show their whole trailers.
Yeah, yeah.
I did notice, and that was like right when they started the coverage, when they did, I think the Deadpool was one of the first one.
Hmm.
And it just did like that 15-second or whatever. And then to watch the whole trailer, watch it online. And I kept noticing a lot of that.
Hmm.
So I haven't seen all of the trailers either. Because I haven't gone online because the game went pretty much up to the podcast. So
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. You know, I totally agree. That was kind of irritating to have them do that. Like, I can understand, I guess, from the studio's point of view, like they're paying for a shorter ad, so maybe they don't have to pay the NFL as much for ad time. Whereas, I
yep.
think for me, like, 15 seconds versus like a full 30 seconds clip is like, an extra like 2 or 3 million for
Yeah.
just 15 extra seconds. So I can understand that perspective, but at the same time, it seems kind of weird that for something as high profile as Deadpool and Wolverine, which is cool that we officially got that it's a joint movie, not
Right.
just Deadpool 3, but Deadpool and Wolverine. That I don't know if they lose some of the audience where people say, "Oh, this is a trailer, we should go check it out right now." Or, I mean, maybe you just flip it up on your phone really fast as it comes on. But yeah, it's irritating that you don't get the whole thing right there on the spot, because it makes it a little less impactful for someone like me who's really looking forward to seeing these trailers. So
I just looked it up. I hadn't looked it up yet. How much for 30 seconds? What's your guess on how much it cost for 30 seconds
I'm gonna
Super
think
Bowl
in
ad?
recent years it's gone up. So I'm gonna say between probably like 5 million, right?
It says roughly 7 just in
Oh
a
wow.
Google search,
Wow. Okay.
according to the Wall Street Journal. So I mean, just to do the math, so a 1 minute commercial is 14 million. And how much is your movie going to make? And how
But a
much?
lot of studios don't want to look into that, considering how much they lost last year.
Well, yeah, they're all losing. So I'm saying it makes sense this year that they haven't made money
Mhm.
on their past movies this last year, so they don't have the budget like they do to lose. And yes, some movies, you do a 2 minute or a minute and a half, 21 million for one advertisement. How much more advertising could you do elsewhere on Facebook and Twitter and
Yeah.
just basic regular television for that same price?
Hmm.
So yeah, bang for buck. It kind of makes sense to me. But I was disappointed because I'm like, oh, I noticed like no one was talking about it online. Like
Hmm.
you didn't get the hubbub. I didn't see anyone talking about things because no one saw it because the game didn't end. But otherwise, on commercials, I don't have, there's none in my head. I made some notes during the game, but once again, I was focused on football. I don't have any notes on commercials this year. None of them were. Danny DeVito and Arnold was a decent commercial
Hmm.
was that Allstate or
That one was for State Farm, I think. State Farm
State
Insurance.
Farm?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was funny. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for people to get mad. They're making fun of how he speaks. Can't do that today. So I love that they did that. So yeah, I thought of all of them, that's the one I remember the most because it made me laugh. Having Danny DeVito at the end, I thought was hilarious.
Hmm.
Hey, let's go again.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Cut.
Now what?
Neighbor.
Yeah, neighbor. Just like it's written on the paper. Neighbor! That was the sheep. And you know it. Neighbor.
Still no.
Neighbor.
Neighbor.
Bah.
Bar.
Bah! This lady's in labor!
Cut. Arnold, got a bit of a script change. You'll love this.
Thank you, Agent State Farm.
Like a good
neighbor, State Farm is there.
You are a backstabber.
I am a backstabber.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like, I think a lot of the commercials, we've talked about this before. It doesn't seem like commercials are as funny as they once were, or at least not even as like creative in like the manner in which they present themselves. Because there used to be some pretty creative commercials back in the day. So today it kind of seemed a lot of it was centered around like doing reunions of certain celebrities. So yeah, you had Schwarzenegger and DeVito reunited.
That's
you
right,
had
yeah.
there's another one with Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer reunited. So
See, I was glancing. I guess I noticed during the game, I'm like watching the game, and then during the commercials, I'm like checking to see comments or what people are saying about the game. And so I remember looking up and seeing Aniston walking away from Schwimmer. I don't even know what it was about. I did see
that
that.
one was for Uber Eats.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's also for okay, yeah. So yeah, it kind of seems a lot of the commercials kind of lean a lot towards their star power and less so on like creativity, I think. So sometimes you'll see a commercial and say, oh, so and so said that was kind of cool. But yeah, we're not really quite seeing as like funny, creative commercials like we once saw.
So as we're talking, I'm like, okay, I remember the Christopher Walken commercial now. That one was funny. Just kind of once again making fun of him.
Yeah, yeah.
Was Christopher Walken. It was funny. And then the potato one. I don't even know what it was for. What was the potato one for? Pluto TV or something TV?
Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah, yeah. Pluto TV, I think it was.
I thought that was okay. Kids really liked that one.
The one I remembered also was the M&M commercial. It was kind of doing like the almost winner. So I had Dan Marino on, Terrell Owens, and even Scarlett Johansson for almost winning Oscars. So that was kind of funny. Like, athletes and actors kind of like poking fun at themselves.
Gotcha.
And then there was one that was also like, blink and you miss them, but Stone Cold Steve Austin was on the Kawasaki commercial.
I didn't even see a Kawasaki commercial.
Okay, yeah, there was a really short one, and like he was in disguise, but like as soon as I heard him speak, I was like, oh, that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. So,
but if he was in disguise, are we sure it was him, or was it just his voice? He got paid to record a promo and walk away.
No, I'm pretty sure it was him. Even though I think a lot of guys maybe kind of want to distance themselves after everything with Vince McMahon going on. So.
That's a subject we need to talk about later.
Yeah, for sure. Then there was a Messi commercial that was kind of cool. I like just seeing Messi getting more integrated with the American audiences, like really hype him up for Major League Soccer about to start. That one was I think
airline.
No, I think it was a beer commercial. I want to say I had it with it was
Is it Michelob Ultra?
I think so, Michelob Ultra. Yeah, and that one also had Dan Marino. So Dan Marino did double duty, 2 different commercials this year.
That was one. So like I put the TV on in our bedroom. So if I went to the bathroom or had to go get something specifically during the game, I could still kind of see what's going on. So I remember walking out and seeing Marino throw. Did he throw a soccer ball?
Yeah, he threw a soccer ball. That Messi.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that part.
Yeah.
But then I was turning to go do something. So I don't know. I feel like I don't care about commercials anymore like I used to. Like for years they were fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like Albert, before the game, I saw people on YouTube were doing reactions to Super Bowl commercials before the game even aired. And I'm like, I don't care. It's a commercial. They're trying to convince me. The one that made me the maddest was the Pfizer commercial, but
yeah,
that's another subject for a different podcast.
Yeah,
if it ever happens.
Yeah. But and then one more that I just bring up really fast, the FanDuel commercial. They paid homage to Carl Weathers, which was pretty cool because I guess he had filmed the commercial ahead of time. And then after he had passed, they kind of did a little tribute to him in the commercial. So that was kind of cool to see.
I agree. I think I saw some of that. That was near the beginning of the game, I think.
I think so. Yeah. Because I guess Gronkowski actually did a field goal kick, and you're supposed to bet and see how he would do, and he ended up missing the kick.
So it's funny. That one was on, and I wasn't paying that much attention. But Isaac, like when he missed it, was like, "Hey, we saw that." Blah blah blah. And I looked up, and then I saw Carl Weathers, and I told Sarah, I'm like, "Oh man, this must have been his last job."
Yeah.
Like his last, at least completed jobs potentially.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it said that, and I was like, I bet that was cool that they added that. It's sad, but pretty cool that they did that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, so that was pretty much all I had with trailers and commercials. So if you're ready, we can jump into food options, which I always love talking about when it comes to the Super Bowl.
Food options. I'm ready.
Very cool. So I recently purchased an air fryer and I absolutely loved it. It's really, really nice. Cool. I love just cooking anything with it. It's really, really awesome. So this year was kind of a down year as far as like festives and parties go because Allison had to work. I had to watch both kids. I didn't really want to have to host people if it's just me and the kids.
Right.
That's a job in itself trying to watch the game and entertain the kids and convince them to let me have the TV for that long, which I did. So that was the good news. I had the TV for the whole time.
Remember, you're the man of the house. It is your TV. Be a little bit like your dad. Hey, nope.
Yep. But yeah, so I used the air fryer to fry up some wings for myself, sauce them myself using like Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce, Gringo Banjito, the Dexter Holland sauce as well. Even
Okay.
Chick-fil-A sauce, like Chick-fil-A sauce is just so, I love it. It's really good.
I've
And I
never put
even
that
love,
on wing, but that sounds pretty good.
it's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. And then I even love just frying like dino nuggets, chicken nuggets for the kids, and then using my own sauces to dip them in.
Right.
So the air fryer is just genius. And then I fried some French fries too. And along with that, just like, little snack stuff like Oreo cookies, and then like, candy, like Reese's Pieces, peanut butter cups. And oh, that's another thing too. So Reese's Pieces, I guess, is adding caramel to their candy. I don't know if I know you're a big fan of Reese's Pieces before. I don't know if you like that idea, but they did run a commercial that they were going to add caramel to it.
I did see that to the Reese's Pieces or the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Oh, I'm sorry, peanut butter cup. I apologize, peanut butter cup.
Okay, I saw something on peanut butter cup. Once again, I looked up and was like, oh, it's a Reese's commercial, and then I looked away. They've done. I love Reese's Pieces. I love Reese's peanut butter cups. Have you ever had I'm sure you have, their Reese's Sticks?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dude, those things are delicious. I'm generally a fan of anything they do, so I would try it, but nothing's in a top a traditional peanut butter cup, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
But you never know; it could be good.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I generally try not to eat candy that much. Now that I'm a little older, but I'm gonna have to try one now.
Very nice, very nice. So for just me and the kids, it was pretty simple, but I still think it turned out really, really good thanks to the air fryer. So yeah, if anyone's on the fence about buying one, I'd say invest in it. It's really, really cool, and you can get some pretty good ones for relatively good price too. So
yeah, you'll find lots of stuff you buy at the supermarket now has air fryer instructions.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything, which helps. We've had one for a couple of years now, so for a while it was tricky to like figure out math because air fryers cook faster than the oven. So it's nice now that you don't have to guess as much. So I support air fryers. If you don't have one, get one. I still, now let's not lie, Albert, the food tastes better if you fry it in oil.
Yeah,
It tastes better for sure, but air fryer is just, it's easier to clean up.
Much faster.
It's faster than an oven.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, air fryers are awesome. Let's see, we went shopping Friday night to try and kind of get ahead of some of the Super Bowl rush.
Mm-hmm.
So our plan, we decided we were going to do wings and jalapeno poppers and cheese curds. And so now cheese curds, we went to Aldi. They have like cheese curds that are really good. So we got those at Aldi, and we did a test run of those earlier in the week. And just looked up like a beer batter recipe. So we were trying to reproduce Buffalo Wild Wings cheese curds. Have you had those?
No, but that sounds pretty good though.
Dude, if you go back to B-Dubs, get that as an appetizer, and the sauce it comes in is delicious.
Oh, okay.
It's worth it. It's worth the trip there for wings just to try that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect excuse. So we're at Kroger Friday night, and they're out of jalapenos.
Oh, wow.
So I go to the produce guy, and I'm like, hey, do you have any jalapenos in back? You're out. And they're pretty empty on lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
Disappears, comes back. No, we're sorry. We're out of jalapenos. I'm like, what the freak, man?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, we're going to have to go somewhere else now. We got to the back of store, and they had like pre-made jalapenos for like $5. So we bought those pre-made. We bought frozen wings. And then, yeah, we did cheese curds again, and we looked up a recipe for the sauce online and got everything to make that. And we did the wings in the oven, not the air fryer. And then, so we'd also decided, I'm like, hey, Sarah, let's make our own buffalo sauce. Never done it.
Oh, wow.
So, like, let's make our own buffalo sauce. So she did, though she ended up changing it and doing like a honey one, and it was okay. I would have rather had a regular buffalo sauce, but I'm glad she experimented with something and tried it. But yeah, we had wings and cheese curds and a great sauce and jalapeno poppers. Oh, and then we also did, we did potato skins.
Oh, okay.
Which we've never done really. So, and we just kind of spaced it out. Like we did. And that was the whole day. So like lunch was kind of like potato skins and cheese curds and like something this hour, and then an hour and a half later we made something else. Then we have vegetables and chips, but didn't have too many of those. Just got full from the other stuff. and then wings for dinner. But yeah, it was good. I'm glad we experimented with making our own sauce. Just trying something different, as you know, which I like to do. So yeah, we have wings left over. So this week we'll be having more wings. We'll be having more cheese curds too. We still have some of those left and sauce, and it was good.
Oh,
It was
very cool.
good. Nothing too fancy.
Yeah.
Just homemade wings and a couple of appetizer type things.
Very cool. Sounds perfect, man. Sounds like a perfect way to indulge with the game is snacking on good grub. So I like it. Very good.
Yeah, we weren't sure, like Anne like the potato wedges, but they don't eat wings, and they're children, picky eaters. So
yeah. Oh, very cool. Very cool. I will say it's kind of cool that with the air fryer, like my daughter Avery just made the comment like, "Oh, it tastes like a real chef actually made it." It's like, "Oh, cool. Thanks for the compliment." But yeah, the kids love it, and I can't wait for them to be old enough where they can throw in some nuggets themselves, so they don't have to bother.
Right. And depending on the kid, that comes at an earlier age or later age.
That's true.
If you trust them or not.
Yeah,
it's kind of one of the things. And your air fryer. I bought a pretty complicated air fryer back in the day. Like you can do a rotisserie chicken in it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like it's a good size one. I don't know if I'd do the same thing again, but I bought it because I thought you could cook for more people at once.
Yeah.
Make more nuggets at one time. But yeah, in the end, I don't know that it was worth it over just a standard one that you have.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So that's all the talking points that I wanted to go over. Is there anything else about the game or anything else Super Bowl related you wanted to discuss or bring up?
No, I would still just go back and say it was a good day. It was a good game. We just put music on kind of at certain points throughout the day. Put on Metallica for a little bit, trying to introduce the children to different music. Rage Against the Machine. We had AC/DC on. I eventually put 311 on. And then right around 5, switched over to coverage and just had a kind of a good day at home. I had to leave and go get a couple things from the store early in the morning, but we just chilled at home as a family, and kids played board games and listened to music and then watched the Super Bowl. And Isaac fell asleep in overtime, so finally we let him stay up and he falls asleep. But it's a good story.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Just a good day overall.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it was for my family as well. We're just missing Allison, but she was working hard for us, so that was good.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see the 49ers actually come out to a Metallica song when they were introduced as a team. They came out to For Whom the Bell Tolls. Like
nice.
It's like they have a long history in the Bay Area.
Right.
Us. And then the Chiefs, I guess they had their traditional like Native American war dance song, which I'm surprised hasn't been like canceled yet.
I give Chiefs the credit for holding out. I respect it.
Very cool, man.
I respect it for sure.
Very nice. Very nice. Cool. Well, that's all the talking points I had tonight. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up or discuss? It's always fun to have these Super Bowl conversations. Bummer that we were missing Tom and Tyler, but I think we covered some stuff pretty good.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to hear their opinions and like things that we didn't bring up that maybe piqued their attention and related to the game and food or whatever. But I'm assuming they had a good time and are driving home safely.
Very cool.
No, nothing on the game or food. I think we hit all the points. It was a low scoring game, so lots of little details, but not a lot. I mean, we could probably talk for hours if we started breaking everything down, going into numbers, but that's not what this is for. So
yeah, I don't know if that would be totally entertaining for all the listeners. For you and I, it'd be entertaining, but
right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we could try it one day and see what kind of banter we come up with, but that should be on its own.
Again, try one of those that we did before, where it was like we come up with predetermined topics ahead of time, not telling the other person what we're going to bring up, and just go have a normal conversation, see where it goes. So we should do one of those again.
I do have something to ask you. What'd you think of this is so off football? Kobe statue.
Oh, you know what? It was interesting that I saw that there was like a couple different variations and designs they could have gone with. It was interesting. They ended up going with the 81-point game. I had heard that the ripping the jersey was going to be one of the options. I really wish they had gone with that one because I always love that story where Victor Brick Jacobs runs onto the court and he's right behind them. You could see him on TV when they would show that clip on TV. It was so cool, and I know VTV got in trouble for that too.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
That would have
I
been
love seeing that.
They would have done an extra statue, and I heard I think Vanessa Bryant mentioned they're going to do 2 more statues, right? One of them with daughter Gigi, right?
Yeah, I watched the whole presentation. Phil spoke, Derek Fisher, Jeannie Buss, Phil Jackson, and then his wife. So she announced, and you can find it on YouTube and just fast forward to watch her speak, but that they were doing 3. But that this one, so it's the 81-point game when he's walking off and holds his finger up. She says that Kobe actually picked the statue.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. So they were talking that far back, even before he had passed, right?
Yes. So that's what I'm concluding is that they had talked about it, and he was like, I already know my statue. Like, this is my statue. And so she had changes put on it because that's when he's number 8. So on his tattoo, it has all of the children.
Oh, okay.
Because there were some that weren't born at that time. There's a triangle on the bottom. There's a couple details that she had changed to it that she requested. And I also, like you, when I thought about it originally, like, what's the statue going to be? I thought of that same moment of pulling the shirt over and Vic the Brick, because everything you just said, I'm in 100% agreement. And my reaction is the same as yours. I love that moment. Like, that was Kobe. He was clutch. He hit the game winners. But the more, like, after she said that, like, Kobe picked it, and the more I thought about it, I'm like, Kobe was the best.
Yeah.
Like, only one of the players scored more than him. So as a moment in your career, to highlight your career, 81 points, man. Like, what says, let that speak for itself. So I kind of, the more I've thought about it, like, I actually think it's a great pick. I think it does proper justice. So she said that one of the other statues, it will be him with his kids.
Yeah. Oh, all of his kids, not just Gigi.
It might be, now that you say that, it might be just Gigi.
Okay.
Them too. And then the third one, they didn't hint at what it would be.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still hopeful that the third one could be that moment that you and I both thought about.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm like, it's Kobe. There's just so many moments. There's the one with the arm.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Playoffs
against the Suns, right? Back in
that was the Suns. They were both against the Suns.
Okay.
The jersey and the arm.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm like, there's more moments. So I'll be interested to see what they do. But why didn't LeBron show up? Come on, you're the leader of the team. There were other players there. The coach of the Lakers was there. What's wrong, LeBron? You unhappy that the guy's better than you because you're not getting a statue?
Not in LA. I mean, maybe you'll get one in Cleveland.
And one trophy, I don't know if that's statue worthy, but in Cleveland. But yeah, he'll get one in Cleveland for sure. But yeah, no, great moment. But also, why did it take the Lakers so long to do that?
I know, like, the date kind of coincided, 2/8/24 to Gigi's number was 2, Kobe's old number was 8/24. I don't know if they were intentionally waiting for that specific date, but I think I agree that maybe it should have been done like as quick as possible after he had passed, I think. But
and I think it's interesting. So remember, when Staples opened, it was kind of, we always said, like, it was the house that Shaq built. But really now it's the house that Kobe built.
Yeah.
Like, Kobe is, like, he's ingrained in LA. Like, we love Kobe. He's the best Laker to ever play the game. Hands down, in my opinion. So
no, I absolutely agree. Very cool.
It looks weird. I watch people walking around there. That whole area, I haven't been there in so long. It looks so different. But it's a cool looking statue.
Yeah, I want to go check it out myself. I mean, I heard that it's the most statues of any sports arena in any sport. I think they have like 12 now with that Kobe statue, and then, like they said, they're planning to add more. So it's almost like a Hall of Fame of, like, famous athletes.
Yeah, so you have
even Chick Hearn and other individuals as well.
I forgot about Chick. You have Kareem, Magic, Shaq, Kobe that are Lakers. There's Oscar De La Hoya. Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky, yeah.
And I'm trying to think of other ones. But no, it's cool. On the bottom of the statue, like it's a triangle to represent the triangle. So there's 3 sides, and one side has this quote. Another side has the scorecard from that game, from the 81-point game.
Okay, yeah.
And then the third side, I'm drawing a blank now. Of course, it's super busy right now because it's brand new. So go when it's not busy.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You should go. I'm jealous. I wish I could go down there sometime with you and like call up the old guys and be like, all right, we're just going to go down.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Like, go down, take some pictures, and then go grab some grub somewhere in the area.
Yeah. Fun. Go to the pantry or something. Haven't been there in forever.
Yeah.
Assuming it's still there.
I don't know. It's been a long time for myself, too. The last time I went to a game or any type of concert or event, there would have been 2009. Oh, a game 2019. But then Allison and I went to a concert in 2022. So, like, yeah, just a little over 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that was fun. It was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my other question. I was curious because that's been in the news. I've been watching.
Oh, no. Thanks for bringing that up. That was actually really cool to discuss that. I don't remember what I was doing that night for the presentation. I might have been busy with the kids or something else going on with school or whatever. But...
No, it was during the day because there was a game that night, I believe. So they did it at it might have been like 11 o'clock LA time, I think.
Oh, really?
It's like a mid-morning.
Okay.
I think, if I remember right.
Okay. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Well, I guess if there's nothing else for tonight, we'll go ahead and wrap up. But thank you, Nick, for giving me your time. It's always a blast to discuss sports and anything else that we love. And so many cool topics to go over in the next couple of weeks and months. So I'm looking forward to more episodes with you.
Awesome. Can't wait myself.
Cool. Thanks, man. Okay, you've been listening to the Casting for Fun podcast. Thanks, everybody.